Give us your thoughts. We've been sort of debating about what the actual tariff is on China now, threatened tariff. Is it as high as 104, or if you add in the 20% plus that President Trump slapped on China during his first term, that takes the number up near about 130%. What should the actual number we're working with be?
Well, I'm thinking about 104, but, you know, when you get to that stage, 104, 130, you're at a point where you can call this a trade war, which I think we all avoided in the first term. I avoided calling that, but this is as bad as I've ever seen it. You know, there are two big issues today here in Washington and the U.S. One was that investors are questioning whether the tariffs are permanent or whether they're a negotiating tool, especially the so-called reciprocal tariffs. Today in the press conference, the president, I think, made a step forward in clarifying that issue. He talked about Japan. He talked about Israel. So he clearly indicated that there are negotiations going on. And I think that's exactly what the market wanted to hear. The big issue, of course, is China. And, you know, this is not going to end well. It's not going to continue down a path that serves either side. We know from the first term that China can withstand whatever we throw at them. And I think that's President Xi's goal, is to show that, you know, after all of these tariffs, that China is still standing. President Trump wants China to move to you know, play by the U.S.'s rules. So it's a real standstill. The problem here is,
Carlos, I got to jump in here. Are you confident? And if you are, what makes you confident that China is going to be able to withstand 104% tariffs? Because we had a guest earlier on this morning saying, look, if that were to be the case, right, and these are real numbers here, it would be equivalent to, let's say, oil going from $60 to $160 a barrel in the blink of an eye. It's kind of hard to fathom.
Look, that's a good question. That is the question. I don't think President Xi can afford to cave. I really believe this is an issue of national pride. Now, in terms of doing things of substance, there will be a stimulus to encourage more domestic consumption. You know, last time, if you look back at China over the last 10 years, anytime we've had tariffs on China, they're very quick to respond. So exports to ASEAN exploded. Business with the European Union exploded. Latin America exploded. In fact, in terms of technology, you know, we have to remember DeepSeek was developed during the time when we had tremendous sanctions on technology in China. So I don't doubt that China will be able to respond. Yes, they will be affected. But, you know, I just don't see President Xi saying, OK, we give up and we'll take off the 34%, which is really in response to the president's 34%. So this is the big issue today. It's a big issue in the world. And look, I hope the one silver lining is that this is getting so bad that perhaps it will bring both sides to the table.